Hello, my name is Tim Erickson. I'm St. Paul Tim on the internet, and I'm here with another Simplo by Triplo video, talking this time about the TinyMCE editor for BackdropCMS. A little quick history. BackdropCMS is a fork of Drupal 7. So for those of you who've been around, you might remember in the days of Drupal 7, Drupal didn't come with any kind of a WYSIWYG editor, meaning when you downloaded and installed Drupal, you couldn't bold or italics your text or shift it left or right. Just type it in and it would appear sort of raw. If you wanted to do any of those things, and pretty much everyone did, you had to choose from several text editors. Amongst those text editors were CKEditor, TinyMCE, and some others. And you had to install one of them, do a little bit of configuration, and you were on your way. When Drupal evolved into modern Drupal, and when Backdrop forked off and became Backdrop, both projects recognized the need to have a text editor installed by default. So when you install modern Drupal or you install Backdrop, they come with a text editor called CKEditor. Well, recently the CKEditor 4 ran into the end of its life. It's no longer being supported. It's been replaced by a newer version, CKEditor 5. And we needed to do the upgrade in Backdrop. So in the 1.27 release, which just came out a few weeks ago from when I'm making this video, that's the first version of Backdrop with CKEditor 5. CKEditor 4 is still there for those of you who are still using it, but any new sites have CKEditor 5, and anyone who's using CKEditor 4 has the option to upgrade to CKEditor 5. The process seems to be pretty smooth, but that's a topic for another video. During the upgrade, we found it to be a pretty complicated process. The CKEditor 5 is very different under the hood from CKEditor 4. And during the process, one of our developers, Indigozella, went off and decided to see what kind of alternatives we had and whether or not the TinyMCE library or editor that's available out there for different projects to use, whether or not that might be a better option for us. She created the TinyMCE contrib module. I've taken a look at it. I think it's a pretty good text editor. It frankly, in my view, has some advantages in some cases over CKEditor. It's probably not better enough that I would use it on all of my projects. Many projects don't need the extra stuff that it provides, and our CKEditor 5 will be a great option for those. But there are some specific cases where I think my client or the site owner could benefit from things in TinyMCE. So today I just wanted to take a look at it, show you that it's out there. It's under active development right now. About 2 hours before I started to create this video, I noticed that a new release was out. So I actually updated. I have the very latest version of TinyMCE that's only about 2 hours old. Okay, as usual, I've opened up a raw BackdropCMS site. Few modules in the modules directory, so I'm going to go here to list modules, including TinyMCE. There it is. We're going to enable the TinyMCE editor. I'm going to skip over this TinyMCE video filter plugin, but we are going to do the TinyMCE snippets plugin. We'll look at that later. So once I've enabled these two modules, we're going to go to content authoring. So under configuration, content authoring, we have text editors and formats. So text editors and formats are sort of different configurations for options and features you can set up for different users on your website. These three default text editors that come with BackdropCMS are basic, which is what comes with a WYSIWYG editor and a good default set of options. Raw HTML, which comes with no editor, but allows you to just paste in your own HTML. This is kind of more of an advanced feature, or a very simple feature, which is plain text, which only allows raw text without any HTML. Any HTML that's typed into a plain text editor will get stripped out. So this is there to prevent basic users from doing freaky things in your website. But depending on how much trust you have or how much functionality a particular user needs, you can give them different text editors. The basic is pretty much, I think, what most people are going to be using on a new Drupal site. If you open up the basic text format, you have a choice between which text editor you're going to use. We could turn it off and use none. We can stick with CKEditor 5. If you have an older site, you might also have CKEditor 4 here as an option. But certainly, moving forward, you would never want to pick CKEditor 4. You should always either use CKEditor 5 or some other alternative like TinyMCE. But you can upgrade CK Editor 4 to CK Editor 5 on your site. We're going to pick TinyMCE, and one of the things you notice right away is that when we switch from CK Editor 4, we lost the ability to customize our toolbar. In many text formats, any CK Editor text format, you can directly change which icons you're making available in the toolbar. When you switch to TinyMCE, that option goes away, and instead you just pick one of three profiles that comes with TinyMCE. The default, which is kind of the middle of the road, the full, which is everything but the kitchen sink, and the small, which is a very minimal toolbar. And we can pick one of those. Let's just stick with the default for now and go ahead and hit save. Now if we go to, say, add a page, the text editor we're looking at here is TinyMCE. One of the things I noticed out of the box is that TinyMCE at the moment, and this may be a bug that will get fixed, seems to collapse the body field a bit. You can expand that just by typing into it. It'll get better. One of the cool things that CK Editor can do this as well, but I didn't know this for some reason, or if I knew about it, I forgot, is both CK Editor and TinyMCE have this full screen mode where you can jump out and you can use the full screen to edit the node, and then you can click on that and go back down. So these are our toolbar options that we have with the default setting. If we go back to content authoring, basic here, and we change this to the small profile for CK Editor, and now we go to add a page, you'll notice that we have fewer options, okay? So we could pick, we have the three default ones. We could create a custom one. So say we want a very simple toolbar, but we want one or two extra tools. What we would do is create our own profile. And I'll show you how to do that in a second. But before I do that, I do want to take a quick look at the large or the full text editor. So when we hit full, now we go to add a page. Now the toolbar's got a bunch of stuff. And in addition to a bunch of icons, it also has this drop-down menu that's like a Microsoft Word or something, all the different options. So you've got a lot of things here. One of the things that I noticed about, I don't think CK Editor has this, but the test content, that doesn't make sense, but it's got a word count right here. So one of the things that TinyMCE does is keep track of your words out of the box. I guess I think you can turn this on or off, so this doesn't have to be up there all the time. But anyways, I think that's kind of a cool feature. Let's go ahead and show you how to create your own profile, which is a little bit more flexible than this. So we go back to content authoring. We jump into TinyMCE profiles, and instead of looking at these, we're going to go and do, let's do demo profile. And so the toolbar, I think everything in the toolbar is also available as a button. So you could just load up your toolbar with all of the buttons, or you could add the menu bar. I think I'm going to go ahead and add the menu bar to our new sample one. I think I mentioned earlier that there was a new release just today in TinyMCE. One of the things that added was the anchor icon. So you can create anchors in your text with TinyMCE. There's a bunch of others here. In the toolbar, I think, is the accordion feature. This is one of the features that I don't think there's a way to do in CK Editor right now until we add a module. That could be something. It's a feature that it theoretically could be built into CK Editor, but it's not there out of the box. And unless somebody creates like a contrib module, it's unlikely to be available in the near future. If giving your text editors the easy ability to create accordions is valuable to you, that might be a reason to use this. It also, TinyMCE also comes with emojis, tables. Some of these things are going to be available in the drop-down as well, so I don't need to drag them all over. I do like this little time feature. Oh, and here's our snippets. Let's go ahead and just add those. So we've added a bunch of things. Now we have a demo profile. We can go back to our text editors and formats, and we could switch basic. What I'm actually going to do is go back and switch basic back to CK Editor 5 and leave that there and show you one of the other things you can do, which is you can create a new text format, and we're going to call this the Simplo profile, or the Simplo format. And for this one, we're going to pick CK Editor 5. We're going to pick TinyMCE. Okay, and we're going to pick our new demo profile. Okay, go ahead and save configuration. Now, if you're unaware, you can pick for individual content types what the default editor is. So right now, for page content, if we go to Manage Fields and we look in the body field, we can scroll down here. We can see that the Simplo format, but also Basic and Raw HTML are available. But if we go down here, we'll see that the Basic is the default text editor. If I go to Post, by default it's going to be the same, but what we're going to do is we're going to switch and we're going to make the Simplo format the default for posts. So I can save that. I can go ahead and now if I go to create a page, this is the CK Editor toolbar. One of the distinguishing, CK Editor just comes with an insert link. Once you've created a link, there's a different option for removing links. That's new to CK Editor 5 and different from TinyMCE. So that's how I can tell that this is the CK Editor toolbar, just from looking at it. If I go to create a post, I see right away both the link and on link plus this toolbar up here. This is unquestionably the TinyMCE toolbar. One of the things I want to show you too that there could be a temporary bug is the text. The text field here is bigger for creating a page with CK Editor. I think this may be a bug that will get fixed in the future. If not, it's not a serious problem, but when we go to add a post, the text field starts out really small, but you can just expand it and make it bigger. If you're ever worried about space, you always have the ability to click on this expand. This feature is also available for CK Editor, but it's and TinyMCE. So most everything here is all pretty straightforward. I don't really need to talk too much about. We've got a nice table editor here, all sorts of different text color, background color options, emojis, lines, anchor tags. This date time format, I've not seen this in CK Editor before. Just allows you to enter the current time in one of or date in one of several formats. So I just click on that, it pops that in there. Seems kind of cool, but I'm not quite sure what the use case for that's going to be yet. One of the things I mentioned before was the ability to create accordions. So if you get to create an accordion, I can say, what is your favorite? An FAQ is a common use of an accordion, but not the only one. So I can type in the accordion. I'm going to go ahead and toggle this to close it by default. If we now save this node, oops, we got to give it a name, test name. We're going to save that. We've created a little accordion. This can be styled however you want in your theme. That can be dropped right into the any body field. Really kind of a cool feature. Okay, one of the other things I want to talk to you about today are the snippets. Again, if we go under configuration to content authoring and then we click on snippets, snippets are just little bits of text or formatting or it could be just about anything that you want to store and reuse. You can go ahead and click add a snippet. I'm going to call this one test table snippet. And one of the interesting things I noticed right away is that while we're about to create a TinyMCE snippet, we've got the CK Editor format selected. So I can just go down here and switch over to use TinyMCE. Now I'm going to grab a piece of code from another window. Okay, I just cut a big piece of HTML, and I'm going to click on the source code, paste this in here. It's just a simple table. I'm going to save that. And here we have a snippet, which basically is just a big table of numbers. It's all kind of silliness, but just something we can use to demonstrate this feature. I'm going to go ahead and save this, and now we can go to create a post, table talk. We're going to create a post on table talk. We're going to go down here. We had to enable the module and add this little insert snippet icon to the toolbar. But if I click on that now, it's going to give me a choice of all the snippets available. I can pick my table snippet and insert that in here. And so this is something, it's sort of a reusable piece of text that I can, without having to go between different pages and cut and paste, which would also be a way to accomplish this. I can just use this little snippet bar to draw from a library of available snippets. Last thing we're going to talk about today is how to create your own custom styles. And these are just specific sets of CSS that you can assign to a certain sort of task and put under here. The things like how to create a quick button or make some red bold text or something. I have some examples. I'm not going to go through the details, but I'm going to show you kind of a quick overview. The first thing I did was, because I'm going to need to add some custom CSS for the formats, so this is not something so much for a site builder, but more if you're developing a theme and you want to create some custom formats for your users, your site editors, you can do this. So what I have used a module called the Devel Subthemer, which allowed me to simply go into my theme page, and I click create a subtheme of the basis theme, and I called it demo theme. And I'm going to point out that as of this moment, I think there may be a bug with this copy color settings. So as long as you don't hit this, just give your theme a name. You can copy everything else or whatever you need, and then go ahead and create a subtheme. Once you've done that, set that subtheme as your main theme. Nothing's going to change on the site right now because right now our new theme is just inheriting everything from basis, but we can go ahead and create some custom styles. And so to do this, first of all, I want to go back to I have open here the wiki page for the TinyMCE module. To get here, you can always find this on any module. There should be a link to documentation over here, and that will take you to the GitHub wiki page that you can edit and help improve the documentation. For TinyMCE, we have a page here about how to create custom style format. Basically, the thing is we're going to have to edit a JSON file, which we normally don't want to do, but we're going to do it in this case. I have things set up so I can go here in my the file directory for the site. I'm going to go into Files, Config, Active, and I'm going to find the TinyMCE profile that I created today, the demo profile. There it is. And I basically have an alternative profile all ready to go. I'm just going to cut and paste this. Pay attention to, if you're going to edit this, I recommend paying very close attention to your syntax. I stumbled over this quite a bit to get this to work the first time, which is why I'm sort of taking this shortcut now. Actually, I don't want to, I'm going to copy everything below the label because the name is going to be different. So let's go here, paste that all in. For formatting, I noticed I missed one space there. So now we've added this all. It has a my red class, a my blue class, and a my blue button that's been added. The last thing, though, I need to do, and I have another bit of text here, is copy this bit of text into my new theme. So this is going to be the CSS for these new styles I created. In theory, you could use something like CSS Injector for this as well, if you know how to use that. But I'm going to go into the themes. There we go. Just going to paste this CSS into my custom CSS file of my new subtheme. That's it. I'm going to save this. We're going to go back to our site. We're going to go add content, a post. We're going to clear the cache because we made some changes that are significant. Okay, this didn't work, and what I realized was I didn't save my JSON file. So what I cut and pasted in here, I never saved that. So I just came back. I'm going to save that. We're going to go back here. We're going to flush the cache. Now, there we go. Now, we have some different settings here than we had before. The headings and the blocks. This I had copied from another thing, but now I have my custom buttons here. Now, one of the things I haven't figured out how to do quite yet, I'll show you, is just going to write a few words here, show you how this works. Normally, in a WYSIWYG editor, if you make a change, you expect to see it right here in the WYSIWYG editor. When I make that bold, it shows up. In this case, I've added these custom tags. I'm going to click on this red text. We can see something happen, but it didn't actually turn red. So in order for us to To see this, I'm going to have to go in here and save that. Sure enough, I just turned that to red. Can come back here, pick one of my other things, which was the blue text, and the middle one, actually, I'm going to add the words click here and use my little blue button thing. I didn't put a lot of work into styling this, so when we save these two things, we don't actually have any hover behavior, or this button doesn't do anything. But you can see that we were able to add some very custom shortcuts to style your text in a unique and interesting way. Again, I skipped over this all pretty quickly. I just recommend that you look at the wiki page for the module under custom style formats, and that you be very careful with your syntax and expect to get it wrong the first time, but come back here and eventually you'll get it to work. So that's all we have today for TinyMCE. If you're still here, I really hope you like the video. Would love it if you would comment on the video, and hope to see you in the future. Bye.